Now to introduce our first guest speaker, Kirby Cote. Kirby made her first Canadian Paralympic swim team in grade 10 at the age of 16. Over the next 8 years, she competed in the 2000, 2004, and 2008 Olympics, along with multiple international competitions. She's won a total of 13 medals for Canada over the course of her swimming career. She was recently nominated into the Manitoba Accessible Sports Hall of Fame. These days, she competes and teaches in the martial art Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and volunteers with the Manitoba Accessible Sport Council. She also works as a massage therapist. She has been called a trailblazer for women and para-athletes in sport, and we are beyond excited to have her talk to us about her journey. Kirby?
When I was invited to come here, I was trying to think about how best to relate. And all right, so it's the year 2000. I am 16 years old. I am in Sydney, Australia. It took 58 hours to fly there, and I am at my first Paralympic Games. My first event at the Games was also the second race for swimming. I was a Paralympic swimmer. And my first event was the second race of the entire Games. So the men swam first, and then the women's heat was after. When you go to a very big competition, you are put in a ready room first, and then you are marched out onto the pool deck and behind your blocks for the start. When they march you out, one by one, they introduce you. So, they would say, Valerie from Canada in lane 1, and Rhiannon Henry from Great Britain in lane 2. And one by one, they are announcing all of the athletes. I'm in lane 4 or 5, and in the time that they are announcing you, you are wearing your Canada gear, right? We've all watched Canadians compete for Canada, and we see them all decked out in their sometimes atrocious, sometimes really cool looking Canada gear. 2000, Speedo wasn't ready for the Paralympic team. I would say the parity and the fairness from Olympic sport to Paralympic sport wasn't quite there. So the 120-pound me, 5'2", was wearing an XXL tracksuit. A mandatory tracksuit because I had to wear Speedo on television and I had to wear Team Canada gear. I looked like a rapper, I don't know, the tracksuit went past almost to my knees. My pants were rolled up, and I think to protest a tiny bit, which I think speaks to my nature, I actually rolled up one of my pant legs super high. I don't know, that was just something that I thought I should do to be annoyed and show it on television. Anyways, so they marched me out in my giant, oversized clothing, and I'm standing behind my block, and I'm taking off my sneakers, and the pants are easy to take off, and I'm looking, and the crowd is about, I think they said it was 20,000 people in the crowd. It was a lot of people. It was just a wall of people, and so they're getting to me. They're going lane by lane, and they get to me, and I can't get my zipper down. It gets stuck in all the extra fabric that is there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna start the race without me. I'm gonna get disqualified for taking too long, and so I decide to shimmy out of it, and I'm going to step out of the jacket. As I'm stepping out of the jacket behind my starting block, I proceed to step on the jacket and step my foot down and slam my face right into the starting block, okay? the crowd of 30,000 or 20,000 goes, "Oh!" I'm 16, I was mortified. I have never been so embarrassed in my life, and my face hurts. And I'm like, "Oh, please don't be bleeding." Okay, my face isn't bleeding. It's fine, I got out of the shirt. I look up across the 50-meter pool. There is a giant jumbotron on delay. So it repeats me getting smashed in the face. I started and the crowd was louder this time. My parents are in that crowd somewhere. I don't know what they're thinking. You know what? I've actually never asked my parents what they thought of that moment. Anyways, so my goggles are half full of tears because I'm so embarrassed. This is my first time competing on such a big stage in front of so many people, and I am just ready to murder Speedo for not having a suit that fits me so that this wouldn't have happened, although let's be honest, I may not have been able to unzip anything normally anyways. Lily, you're not the only one who has problems with random things. Anyways, I somehow managed to put myself together. I think it was a 100-meter butterfly was the race. I won that race. I won a best time. I won the first gold medal for Canada, and I also won the first gold medal for the entire games. So it was a lot. After that race, I think it took probably about 2 hours for me to see my family afterwards, because you race and then you do an interview and then you warm down and then you get drug tested and then you meet your coach, and then finally I got escorted up into that audience where there was 20,000 people. 2 hours later, you know, the competition is done. There's nobody in the crowd except for my parents, my mom, my dad, and my sister. And they were just sitting and waiting for me. And I would say my most vivid memory of my 8-year career was seeing them and having the chance to just sit with them in that big empty space. And I think it was a very big collective sigh of relief. And I think just little things that I'd like to pass on to you in that kind of relieving sigh is that at 16 years old, I think I figured out the meaning of hard work pays off. I think, you know, a lot of people talk about it, and I think everyone will get it the moment they actually do something that was a lot of hard work, like this much. That much hard work. And I will say that winning the first gold medal for Canada and that whole hoopla, compared to the hard work, this was a success. So it's super tiny, it's fleeting, it comes and goes really fast. But what doesn't come and go really fast is that really large amount of work that you put in. You know, you never lose that. I can tell you 100% that any amount of work and focus and energy that you put into something that you want to do, you will always have that with you. And you can enjoy that little moment for however long it takes you to create your next goal, which for me is usually personality-wise something that, you know, I'm definitely a big goal setter and I'm on to the next one sort of a person. That's not everybody, and that's okay. So yeah, hard work pays off. The second thing I learned is that it's okay to ask for help. I think being a person with a disability, living in a world that is absolutely not designed for me, or for anyone with a disability. It's a constant state of figuring out how to maneuver through a world that doesn't include you, and even when it's trying, it's usually it's missing the mark a good chunk. It's okay to ask for help. I've never felt comfortable with it until I became a Paralympic swimmer and my disability became a bit more prominent, and I had to actually live with the identity as a visually impaired person. And asking for help was a really difficult thing for me. So I definitely learned that it's okay to ask for help. So hard work pays off, and it's okay to ask for some help if you need it. And the third thing, which is actually the hardest for me, and maybe somebody here can relate to it, is have fun in everything that you do. We can laugh at me smashing my face in front of 20,000 people. It's pretty freaking funny. And I will tell you that it's not my most embarrassing swimming moment. There's more. But yeah, find some fun in everything. I think I am a very focused and driven person and motivated to do things. And sometimes you take yourself very seriously, and it's good to just have a little fun in everything, even if it's the worst thing ever. Let's see where I'm at for time. Perfect. I think I'm just gonna wrap it up. Like I said, I could talk about a lot of things, but hard work pays off. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Have fun. Those are pretty easy ways to live life, and you can adjust it how you wish any day. If you want to reach out to me and talk about anything, about sport, about disability, about really anything, you can find me on social media. I'm fairly open to conversations. It's a small world in Winnipeg, so it's really easy to connect. I do volunteer a lot with accessible sport in the province, so if that's something that speaks to you and you would like to give back to your community, you can find me. You can find your awesome teammate Lily, who also does that sort of thing. And I guess thank you guys for having me, and I'm really excited to watch the rest of this, performances? Yeah, that's me, you guys.